Need a pawn in the drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
Need a pawn in the drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
Need a pawn in the drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
Need a pawn in the drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
Your shit.
never talked to them boys that sat on the benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
All right. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving weekend. Hope everyone's having a great Monday. Got some Seminole talk. And we are live. 863 Seminole TV. I'm your host, POLK, a.k.a. AloMoney, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. We're about to get it crack-a-lacking up in here. QB1 has departed. Games are being canceled. 2 wins on the season. Is this it? Have we reached rock bottom? Let's find out. Quick roll call, and then we're going to get crack-a-lacking like we always do. Panama Jack, Giuseppe, Ohio State Buckeye football, Peter Shields, Destroy, Island Boy, Gator Nation, Brandon B, Kane for Life, Mr. Wolf, Joshua, Fire Fuller. Now I co-sign that one. Kusami Hayes, if I didn't call Kusami out already, Kusami Hayes, Mark Jean, and Kenny Zapata. And Encyclopedia in the building. Let's do this. Jose Garcia, Tyler. Sorry for being late, guys. Got a little busy. Had to push it back a little bit. But we here now. We are here now. No-blooded in the building. All right. Let's just not waste no more time. Let me not chew in you guys' ear. Let me put the gum out. Let's just hop right into it. Luke Altmyer officially decommits. What does that mean? Where does FSU go? Joseph Hardaway in the building. On some positive news, it looks like they were able to mend their relationship with Donta Lucas. After completely taking everything out of FSU off of his Twitter page, he has put the FSU picture back up there. Donta Lucas seems to be back on board. Rose in the building. What's happening? So there's some positive. The one positive I got. But the big news is Luke Altmyer is gone. I told you this weeks ago. And it came to fruition. Don't want to hate to say I told you so, but here we are. QB1 has departed. And here's where I want to go with all of this. Dylan Harris in the building. Here's where I want to go with all of this. I think I have been anyway on Mike Norvell. I've been pretty lenient. I've been understanding of the situation and the cards he was dealt. I can accept the roster that he inherited that he has to turn over. I can accept the quarterback situation being a mess due to injuries and true freshmen and all this stuff. I can't accept the defense, but that's a whole nother thing. I just want to talk about Mike Norvell. There's a lot of things I've been able to accept. Here's the one thing that I really got to get on him about. Ardavius Hall in the building. Here's the one thing I really got to, it's the recruiting. It's the trail, man. Now, I get it. You don't win. It's hard to recruit. and this is going to sound contradictory. This is going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. But when I compare, first of all, FSU just has lost its 2 top-rated commits, really back to back. I know there was some time in between, but back to back. Brandon Jennings and Luke Altmyer, your 2 top-rated guys. And here's the deal, right? I said before last week, on last week's show, Tuesday show, I said, Brandon Jennings' decommitment really rubbed me the wrong way. And I understand, while I may not agree with it, I understand more so the Luke Altmyer decommitment, being that he's from out of state. And it's very hard to, especially out of the state of Mississippi. For whatever reason, those kids are loyal to those Mississippi schools, even though those Mississippi schools are never any good. They are loyal to those schools, and it's very hard to get kids out of that state. The Brandon Jennings decommitment, while it rubs me the wrong way, to me, this Luke Altmyer decommitment really has me questioning the recruiting ability of one Mike Norvell, because that is his player, right? Brandon Jennings, look, is a FSU alma mater. He's a legacy. It's still stupid that the dude decommitted to go to Michigan. Like, let's just be honest. Michigan is terrible. Michigan might be worse than us if we're just being real. But all that aside, Altmyer was your guy. You discovered Altmyer when he was a 3-star. It wasn't until FSU offered Altmyer that scholarship that all of a sudden he blew up on the recruiting services. Altmyer was an unknown. Then he commits to Florida State. Dude gets an Elite 11 invite. Dude goes up to a 4-star. He's been climbing the ranks really ever since. All the top schools, Bama, all those top schools then offered him scholarships. If you're Mike Norvell, how do you not, and again, this might sound contradictory because I understand Altmyer. I understand him looking and saying, I just want to stay close to home. Even though Tallahassee and Mississippi ain't nothing but a jump skip away. But I get it. That's a Mississippi kid who want to play for the hometown team per se. Got it. But Mike Norvell, that's your guy. That's your guy. Kenny Dillingham, Mike Norvell, that's your guy. And you couldn't seal the deal on that. You couldn't close that. You couldn't convince him like, yo, okay, look at this quarterback room, dude. There's plenty of opportunity for you to come in and be successful. You're my guy. We're supposed to have this great relationship. You know, a good recruiter closes that, man. That's just my personal opinion. A good recruiter closes that thing. Now, if you look at the recruiting in its totality, FSU was in a unique position this year before the season started. 3 of the top safeties in the nation. Two were out of your own backyard. One's committing tomorrow in Terrion Arnold. Don't waste your breath, guys, because it ain't finna be FSU. One's committing tomorrow, December 1st, in Terrion Arnold. 2 are in your backyard in Amari Harvey and Terrion Arnold. You're not going to get either. One was another legacy guy that's going to your rival school. Brandon Jennings, another legacy kid, is going to Michigan. Now, I don't think that Michigan commit's going to stick. I'll be interested to see how that recruitment opens back up for Jennings. I can't see you decommitting from Florida State because we're not good on the field. Jim Harbaugh is probably not going to be there next year. Does he try to come back, or does he try to, to me, honestly, this isn't trying to say anything bad about Brandon Jennings, but it seems to me like a kid that's going to try to ride the wave of another school. Seems to me like he's not, I don't foresee Brandon Jennings going to coming back. I foresee him hopping on a Bama bandwagon or something like that. Just my take. I hope I'm wrong. If he's interested in Florida State, they should definitely get back on him. The recruitment still rubbed me the wrong way in the way he decommitted and went about it, but it is what it is on that. But you see what I'm getting at? You see why I say this is like rock bottom? Because I've been watching this team for a very long time. This is the worst record they've had since the 70s, before I was even alive. And I've never seen them recruit like this. How do you miss out on every talented guy in your own backyard? Oh, and by the way, Rod Orr, yeah, he's probably on his way out. Interesting little thing that just happened with him where he was supposed to be like an early enrollee and now he's pushing his signing day back. That's never good news when a guy who's committed to you doesn't want to commit early but wants to push his date back. Yeah, that's never good news. Chemo, the other offensive lineman, yeah, he says he's still committed but is very interested in SEC schools. Yeah, when your commit's talking like that, Chemo's on his way out. Omarion Cooper has been rumored to Michigan for a while now. We'll see if that pops or he sticks or not. Stuff's kind of gone quiet with him, but he is shopping around. The decommitments are not over with. Think about that for a second. FSU lost his top 2 recruits. Omarion Cooper would be the next 4-star to drop. How do you can't even, at this point, you really can't salvage that. Everything you're going to bring in from here on out is going to be a developmental type player. And I'm not saying you can't get some good 3-stars. But the lifeblood to any program is recruiting. Period. That's the lifeblood to any college sport is recruiting. And what Mike Norvell and these guys need to do is start recruiting the state of Florida. Recruit your own backyard, man. How do we let Amari Harvey, Tallahassee native, Terrion Arnold, Tallahassee native, Corey Collier, Legacy, Brandon Jennings, like how do we let these guys lead? How do we not pull those? I get that the on-field stuff isn't that great to watch. I understand it. But there are teams that are struggling and still committing, getting prospects. We don't have any real recruiters on this staff, man. It remains to be seen how good of a coaching staff they are, X's and O's wise. Offensively, I think we got some solid coaches. I honestly do. I think Norvell is solid offensively. I think he's got to find his quarterback. He's got to get some playmakers. But I think the offense has improved, even if minimally, it's still improved from what we were seeing in previous years. In its totality. Defensively is a whole nother can of worms. But where's the ace recruiter, man? This Altmyer one, I'm not going to sit and pretend like Altmyer's not a big deal. Because to me it is. First of all, you always have to sign a quarterback. Second of all, this was a kid who you had in you had him. He was yours. Great relationship. That's all we heard. Luke Altmyer and Dillingham and Norvell have this amazing relationship. Well, the relationship wasn't good enough to convince him that coming to Florida State. So that's really where I'm at, man. They gotta get these kids from their own backyard. Too many guys were letting slip through the cracks. The only positive news, honestly, is that in my opinion, the season's over. I mean, every game has been canceled from here on out. Well, not officially canceled. They've been postponed. I don't expect us to play Clemson. I don't expect us to play Virginia. The Duke game's already been canceled / postponed. The question is, will they still practice? I think this team needs all the practice reps they can get. So they should still practice in these last few weeks if they can, if they have the personnel for it. But the games don't matter. And now the offseason starts now. And it's not off to a great start, man. It's not off to a great start. Your offseason starts right now, with all the games being pretty much put in the bag. And you started off your offseason with the decommitment of your top-rated quarterback. Now, is there a replacement plan in place? Possibly. Is he going to be a Luke Altmyer? No. Will it be some 3-star from somewhere? Probably. Does that mean he's not a good player? No. But it does mean He's probably a developmental guy. That doesn't mean that these 3 stars can't be good players, but the reason they're 3 stars is because they're not really ready to play right now. It might take a year or 2 or 3 before they're ready to see the field. It just is what it is. The transfer portal is going to have to be the main source of recruiting for Florida State. Because I already told you, and I'm just being real, man. I'm just being real. The Destin Hills / Payson. A lot of people still know him as Payson, but Destin Hill, don't sleep on it. Or take that back. Go to sleep on it. Don't waste your time on it. Don't hold your breath for it. He ain't coming. Who else we had out there? Taiwan Malone. He ain't coming. All those top prospects that are still interested in Florida State, man, for this class, you can nix it, man. I don't see it. I don't foresee it. Too many guys. I mean, you just got to develop what you got at this point. You have to just, you got to take what you have and try to mold it. This is the hand that you have. But I need to see some better recruit. It's very disheartening to see that a guy that was your guy decommit. That's really where I'm at with this. Brandon Jennings was never a Norvell guy. Okay, Brandon Jennings grew up a Florida State fan, most likely. Committed off of his fandom, I guess. Saw the team was playing bad, didn't want to be a part of it. I got it. But Luke Altmyer was your guy. There was no Luke Altmyer and FSU. There was no link there until Norvell got here. And you lost that. You're going to lose that to Lane Kiffin. That's very unfortunate. And that says a lot about your recruiting ability, in my opinion. I can't remember the last time Jimbo Fisher lost his guy. I don't even remember. Did Taggart ever lose his guys? Taggart usually got his guys at least. Maybe his guys weren't that good, but he got his guys. We all know Sam Howell was never his guy. That was Walt Bell's guy. So we know how that recruitment panned out. We'll see the backup plan, man. We'll see the backup plan. Let's go to the comments. See what y'all are talking about in these comments. Hard Joseph asks, are we surprised? We shouldn't be, because I told you guys that was coming. And I'm telling you guys more are on the way. Just be prepared. Well, they have no choice. They got no choice. Man, I'm still sold Purdy. Am I still sold on Purdy? We'll see about Purdy. I'm not unsold on Purdy. I'm not ready to write the book on Chubba Purdy yet. I mean, the dude can't stay healthy. That's one problem I have with him. Other than that, I think he's got some tools and some talent to develop and work with. It's one of the reasons why they get to hit that transfer portal harder than ever, mainly at the quarterback position. Because your top 2 guys are injury prone at this point, in Jordan Travis and Chubba Purdy. And look, Tate Rodemaker could end up surprising everybody and maybe be the most talented quarterback on the roster. I told you guys before the season started, if we saw Tate Rodemaker at any point this season, we were in trouble. And lo and behold, you see what the results have been. That's not a knock on Rodemaker. That's just knowing that when most good coaches, or just, most coaches that have any good sense, you take 2 quarterbacks usually. You take a guy who's more of a day one type of guy, or the guy with the high floor and high ceiling, like a guy that you can plug in if need be. And then you take a project guy, a guy who may be a boomer bust type of kid. I think Tate Rodemaker is that boomer bust. He's either going to be a really terrible player, or he might have the most potential in the room, but he ain't ready yet. The game is too fast for him right now. He can't compute what's going on in that field because he's not used to what he's seeing. And it may take another year or 2 for Rodemaker to really be able to contribute. Back in the day, that'd been perfect. Back in the day, you didn't play a quarterback until he was a redshirt junior anyway. To nowadays, that doesn't quite work. I'll give it to you, Pope. You called Altmyer decommitment. I'm just telling you, man. More decommitments coming too. Seems the Rod Orr. Yep, that's what I was just talking about. Rod Orr, Nico. I'm sorry. What Miko Macaniole. Him, he's on his way out. That's 2 offensive linemen we could potentially be losing. Is FSU the new Syracuse / NC State? What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. FSU is just in uncharted waters for sure. The 3rd canceled bad look. Now, see, this is what I'm not even going to entertain that, because here's what I'm not going to do. We're not going to pretend like games aren't being canceled every single week in the NFL, college football across the board. Not only are they getting canceled, for some reason, it's a big deal when FSU does it. But there are a ton of games in college football that are being canceled the day of, but nobody's complaining, nobody's crying. But when FSU's do it, it's a bad look. Oh, we're running. Get out of here with that. It's just the nature of the season. It's the nature of the beast. It is what it is. FSU's not running from anything. If you think that, you're ridiculous. And please dismiss yourself. FSU ain't running from nothing. First of all, the team has been blown out in every loss this year anyway. So what's a few more blowouts going to mean if you still can pull in the revenue from ticket sales? The team isn't in a position where we can be not getting this revenue from the ticket sales, period. So they ain't running from nothing. It's nothing more for the money part of it, if anything. FSU ain't running. COVID is a real thing, guys. Oh, and every program in the nation's dealing with it. Games are being canceled left and right. Why are we acting like FSU's the only one going through this? It's just a narrative that the so-called Florida State fans want to put out there to be haters. And it's a narrative that the haters are going to push regardless. FSU ain't running. 3rd cancel, a bad look. Get out of here with that. Ain't nothing a bad look about it. It is the nature of the beast. Everybody's canceling games. The Ravens and the Steelers they've been canceling game. The game just got canceled again. They've been trying to push this game back for 2 or 3 days now, since Thanksgiving. But let me guess, the Ravens are probably running from the Steelers. Stop. Let's stop that. Develop Jordan Travis. He's not a terrible QB at all. And if anything, he gives you a lot to work with. I'm not saying that there aren't QBs on the roster to work with, because obviously you got to make do with what you got. And I still have a lot of faith in Jordan Travis. The question, Norvell's gonna have to look at Jordan Travis, and they're gonna have to go, what does he do? What doesn't he do? This offseason, we know he can run. So there's no point in running him and getting him banged up in scrimmages or anything like that. We know the dude can run. We need to work on whatever flaws they see in Jordan Travis's throwing game. Now, the only flaw I see in his throwing game is the velocity on his throws. I can sit back and watch Jordan Travis just off top of my dome and go, his passes lack oomph. They seem to float a little bit. But that should be enough for college to get him by. Not saying Jordan Travis is ever going to be a pro prospect, at least not as a quarterback. He might be an athlete in pros. He should have enough arm in college to get him where he needs to be. They need to work on those things in this offseason with Travis. It's like Norvell is not going after guys as hard as he should, but he should be selling a lot. We have to recruit. That's what I'm saying, Peter. They gotta hit these Florida streets harder. They have to. Give me a 3-star from South Florida. Hell, give me a 3-star from Central Florida over going out of state, trying to get these 4 stars, and these kids are fickle. It's already hard enough to get them from out of state. Now you can't get them from out of state if you're losing. Recruit some Florida State fans. Recruit some kids that want to be Noles. Those kids will work hard for you. No one wants to play for Fuller POLK. I think Samuel would have stayed 1 more year. I think. Well, I can't. If you look at Samuel, if you look at Asante, and you look at his grade, he's like a top 5 corner in the nation. Maybe he would have stayed a year. I'm not mad at Asante Samuel for going pro. He should go pro because He's going to be, I think probably one of the top. The only thing knocking Asante is his size, but he's going to possibly be one of the top 5 corners. I don't know if he's a first-round pick because of his size. If Asante Samuel was 6 foot, he'd be a first-round pick. Maybe the number 1 corner off the board. So his size is going to knock him down a little bit in a league where these wide receivers are getting bigger and faster. With that said, I don't think Fuller was the reason Asante left. I just think Asante sees a chance to cash to go to the league. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for it. Arnold, Harvey were must gets 4 and 5 stars out of talent. Exactly. How do you not land one of those guys? You're 100% on recruiting. It's the lifeline of any program. Ask Steve Spurrier why he ultimately decided to retire from South Carolina. Recruiting, he felt he couldn't keep up with the big boys. Coach Johnson's supposed to be an ace recruiter, but how can you see it, Tay? How can you see it? Now, he seems to be solid in Louisiana. Seems to be. But they were saying he had South Florida connections too, and I don't see it. There ain't no ace recruiter on this staff. I'm just telling you right now from what I see. I don't see one. Luke was tweeting FSU heavy before. Crazy he decommit, but I don't blame him. Hopefully Shaheem Brown is good. Who is Shaheem Brown, Tyler? Enlighten me on Shaheem Brown. What's up, Polk? I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving weekend. I had a pretty good one. Mike Norvell stated today FSU will have a game December 12th, but I'll believe it. Against who? Duke? Would have to be Duke. UVA says they have no. Now, credit to the University of Virginia, because while they did say they had no interest of going back down to Tallahassee to play a game, they also said it's not Florida State's fault that the game got canceled. It's the ACC protocols is the reason why the game got canceled and the way the ACC is running it. So shout out to UVA for being smart and not talking to their ass like Clown Bo Sweeney did. So shout out to UVA for at least keeping it G and keeping it a buck and being honest that it wasn't Florida State's fault. It's the ACC's fault. Of course, Clownbo would say something different. But you're right. They don't have any interest of coming back down to Tallahassee, which I don't blame them. Who are we going to play on the 12th? Damn sure, I guess Duke. I don't know if Duke has expressed any interest. I don't know if Duke was an away game or a home game. I don't know. But who they going to play on the 12th? We're going to have a game on the 12th against who? It's going to be a scrimmage. We're going to Garnet versus Gold, Garnet versus White. What we going to do? Raider Noel says, do they go to JUCO route for a QB? They got to. JUCO transfer. They gotta do something with that. And they may still sign a 3-star guy. But you're going to need a little something. You're going to need something that's going to be ready to play right now because your top 2 guys are injury prone at this point. Time to hit the weight room and develop. Absolutely. Man, F. Norvell, I said it. He needs to take his ass back to Memphis. I don't want to see this team embarrass FSU anymore this season. Yes. Time to focus on recruiting the state of Florida. The success race for consistency bringing in a lot of recruits from SEC country is not good, especially when you're not winning, D. Thompson. If you're not going to win consistently, you're not going to recruit these SEC states. You're not going to do it. Focus on the Florida kids who want to be Noles. There's a ton of them out there who grew up Seminole fans who would die for the privilege and will work hard to play. If that means more 3-stars, so be it, because you're missing out on the 4 stars from out of state anyways. So recruit the Florida 3-star kids. I'm for it. Until you start putting a respectable product on the field, then you can up your recruiting. But whiffing on all these guys out of state is doing what? Nothing but really making us look bad, looking like we can't even recruit now. No, my chat jumped. Give me a minute. Man, you guys are in the chat heavy tonight. 53 people in here, guys. Man, hit that like button for me, please. And if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Norvell, Dillingham, Fuller don't have any Florida ties, but that's no excuse. This is Florida State. How can't we sign not one big-time recruit off the play time alone? Sounds like some bad recruiters to me, man. Norvell Norvell's dumb ass thinks this is Memphis. You can't win with a roster full of 3-stars. Raymond James, what's going on? I've been saying why they don't recruit South Georgia. There used to be a pipeline from South Georgia to Florida State. I mean, Rodemaker's from South Georgia, but yeah, I feel what you're saying. Have you heard any names of other QBs FSUs are looking at? I've heard of the only name off the top of my head that I know for sure is Calvin Johnson II, and he was a Navy commit. I think he still is a Navy commit. That's the only quarterback I know. A Navy commit. Athlete type quarterback. You know what Navy runs? They run the triple option. I don't know if that dude's good enough to, that's the only name I can really put out there, man. But if the kid's willing to work hard and if he has some talent to work with, why not? Lorenzo, think it's our bottom. At least I hope. I feel like Norvell messed up on Jeff Sims. I think Jeff Sims would have been good. I don't really want to go the route of Jeff Sims. I still don't think Jeff Sims is all that he's cracked up to be. But they say the best ability is availability. Right now, Jeff Sims has at least been able to be healthy and play every game, and Chuba Purdy has not. So I'll say that much. We would have been better off the council seating. Our recruiting class would have been better. I agree. We would have been better off just not playing a game this season and trying to sell kids on at least what we could be. I was pushing for a season. I thought we needed to see an improved product. I didn't know we were going to look the way we looked. I didn't know defensively we were going to be this atrocious. I really didn't. I didn't know offensively we wouldn't have a receiver that could catch the ball. Still baffles me. Still blows my mind how you could play wide receiver and can't catch. But FSU seems to have a roster full of them. Stop talking about the traitor in Texas. This is what FSU gets for letting Jimbo go. Nothing to say, just listen. That loss to GT set the tone for the year. Running late, recap needed. We just talking about Altmyer, man. Lorenzo. Trust me, I'm fine with no more FSU football. I think most of us are. I think most of us are like, okay, we don't really need to see this team. Get in the weight room. Get on the practice field. Get in the film room. And come out respectable next year. Respectable. Hit the transfer portal. Recruit your freaking 3-stars. Right now, we're outside the top 25 in recruiting. So, and after a few more decommits, who the hell knows where we're going to finish in recruiting? This could really be embarrassing recruiting-wise because I don't see any recruiters on this staff. Just develop what you got and come out next season and be respectable at least. But I don't need to see this team anymore this season for sure. You will not be successful if you don't recruit. Purdy is like Ponder, good, but not a program-changing quarterback. Well, I'll say this about Christian Ponder. Christian Ponder set the tone for the future FSU quarterbacks. Say what you want about Jimbo, and I know Encyclopedia don't want me talking about that traitor, but the truth is that man made Christian Ponder look like a first-round quarterback, which is why he went in the first round. You can do this. Purdy could be the tone setter because Christian Ponder was a good college quarterback, and Purdy can be that tone setter to at least convince the other quarterbacks to come here. Because of Purdy, you ended up getting the EJ Man. That's not Purdy. You ended up, because of Ponder, you ended up getting the EJ Manuels and the Jameis Winstons of the world. CBW, what's up? We need a program-changing quarterback, and we don't have that. John Shields. Never thought I would see the Knowles sink to this point. Samuel gone. Well, Samuel is going pro. I wouldn't, say gone, but why? Of course he's gone. We're not playing any more games, so it's not like he opted out. We're not playing any more games, so he's gone pro. So let's scratch that off. Yes, we've had 2 decommitments so far. That's for sure. I agree with that. I am so interested in to see who they can bring over in this transfer portal. I'm very interested in that. There are quarterbacks out there to be had for sure. So I'm very interested to see across all positions who they can bring in this transfer portal. I mean, the team has a chance to look extremely different. First of all, not a chance. It's going to look extremely different next year. The question is, will they be better for it? That's going to be the question. That goes back to my point where people want to talk about we running. We're not running. It's just the nature of the COVID season, which is what this is. cancel. Everybody's canceling games, but let people tell it Florida State running. Facts. It's only running when it's FSU. Exactly. And it's not just the media. It's our own fans, Kusami, that's saying the bull crap. Because we canceled 3 games. Well, guess what? Rescheduled 3 games. And they also, I think they canceled the 2 games. 2 of the 3 games I think are canceled for Don't quote me on it because I don't follow the Hurricanes like that. I'm just saying games are getting canceled every single week in college football. And no, not days before like the media would have you believe. You can just go do a quick Google search. There are tons of games getting canceled on the game day. On the morning of the game, teams are canceling games. But when FSU does it, we running. We scared. Chill out. That looks like that's where we're trending, Lorenzo. Not even going to lie. Do we go after Muschamp? At least he can recruit on defense. Look, this is going to be a unique year. Muschamp's going to be a free agent. I still think Charlie Strong's out there as an analyst, but come on, you can get that guy. Derek Mason just got fired from Vandy. There are some guys out there, man. There are some guys out there. The question is, are they going to pull the trigger on Fuller? I don't think so. Is the issue. But you might not get a Pruitt. There's a good chance Pruitt's going to be available at the end of this year. What are you going to do? There are big names out there that we can get. Are you really going to stick with Fuller? I think they are. But you probably won't find a better crop of defensive coordinators than was probably coming up this year, and FSU's probably not going to jump on it if we're being honest. Put 25 pounds on Jordan Travis to help with the durability. Doesn't throw with the anticipation. Can't read the field. Guess he's talking about Travis. Are you talking about the DB/linebacker for the 2022 class, Tyler? Yeah, I don't really talk about guys that are a year or 2 out because, as you can see, decommitments can happen. I hope he's going to be a good player for us, but like I said, we got to focus on what's going on with Tribe 20, and it's not looking too hot. Despite how bad things look, I really do feel like if we can get the defense to respectable levels with a solid O-line, Jordan Travis, I don't want to say you're being delusional, but look how bad the defense is. I mean, let's put it like this. Fuller had all this talent supposedly on defense this year. You had Marvin Wilson coming back. You had Durden coming back. You had Coop coming back. Kando pretty much played a whole season. Sante Samuel. You have Akeem Dent. All these big name guys. And that's what Fuller put out there on defense. Next year, that defense ain't going to look nothing like that. Now, we could say that might be a good thing. That maybe some of those big name guys need to be on their way out because while I don't want to call them cancerous, they didn't do a lot to help this team win. Maybe they got some individual numbers. Maybe they graded out individually at a respectable level, whatever. They didn't help put wins on the board. You can make that argument. But this was the defense that everybody thought Fuller was going to have a ton of talent to work with and play with. Next year's defense ain't going to look nothing like this, for better or worse. We'll see. Duke is playing Miami, not FSU now. So who the hell are we going to play on the 12th? Exactly. Yeah. Okay. You guys are right. That's the guy. for the 2022 class. Yeah, I saw his tape. We'll talk about him when it's time to talk about him, when it's, when it's time to talk about that. As of right now, 2022 class isn't going to help this class. Is he 2022 or 2021? I think it's 2022. He's not going to help. And put it like this, he's not helping next year. Let's put it like that. Dabo Sweeney's a bitch and a dumbass. He has T2Y in the building. So what's going on, man? Hold on. Chat jumped again. You guys are killing the chat right now. Again, 61 people in there, man. Hit that like button. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, my statistics say that about 70% of y'all that watch me aren't even subscribed. If you're watching me, subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. Hit that icon, man. Hit that little bell. Subscribe to the channel. Always hit that like button to grow this community. We growing. We growing, man. We over 600. So we are growing and we are moving. And this is a good turnout for a Monday show where I was running late. This was supposed to start about an hour ago. So here we are. Hit the like button, man. Subscribe to the channel. Shaheem Brown. Okay, everybody telling me who Shaheem is. Got it. Maiden Day, what's up? I agree, Pope. Let's focus on the Florida kids. The Tutu Atwells. Exactly. Those guys are everywhere in South Florida. Get those guys. I don't care about Buddy from Arizona. Granted, now I like you guys I'm high on the quarterback from Arizona. But still, come on, man. Let's get Florida guys. Adverb the Great. This is my first time seeing you, Adverb. So I see you're already talking trash. So before I even read this comment, if you're not subscribed, matter of fact, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. I've never seen you before, Adverb. I appreciate you for tuning in, of course. But before I read you disrespect, before I read the disrespect, you got to be a subscriber first. Michael Langston said earlier we might have a shot at Jake Garcia. Langston's one of the few guys. Now, when it comes to War Champ, there's things I like about them. There's things I don't. I like listening to Corey. I think Corey's funny. I like Ira Schofel. I think Ira Schofel's pretty good. I like those guys. They're good in some spots. They rub me the wrong way in other spots, especially when it came to Taggart. And Michael Langston's probably the one guy I respect the most on War Champ. His knowledge is usually top notch. Don't hold your breath on Jake Garcia. Come on. I don't see that. We ain't heard about Jake Garcia to Florida State this whole time. Now all of a sudden he wants to come to Florida State. I think that's the way of Michael Langston trying to calm the fan base. We need athletic QBs from Florida and a similar mode to Jordan Travis. I feel like looking for pocket passers might work with Blackman. A pocket passer can work. He just got to be the right guy. As a Miami fan, I want FSU back. College football is always better with both of us at the top. All my Miami guys that watch me on a routine basis, and I pretty much can name them guys off the top of my head. The CJs, Maiden Dade, Dennis, John Shields. Those are all the Miami guys who, they give me crap, but they always come here and show support. Dylan Harris, I think I've seen you in a few times too. Y'all are family. I fucks with you. But y'all stop acting like Miami ain't been. Come on now, y'all got to stop pretending like all of a sudden Miami. Granted, y'all got one loss, 7-1 in a COVID season. Absolutely, but is the U really back? Slow the rolls. Let's slow the rolls a little bit. But hey, at the end of the day, y'all doing better than us. So what can I really say? If you're Norvell, what's your first step this offseason? My first step would be firing Adam Fuller and going from there. But if you're asking me what I think Norvell's going to do, I think he's going to hit the transfer portal pretty hard. How many decommits we have so far? Only 2. Well, technically 3, but DeQuavion Fuller was never going to commit anyway. So I'm not counting him. So technically 3, 2 really. I think Mike's approach killed this team. Look at all the departures. People were so happy kids were leaving, but it's never a good sign. So I still don't have a problem with the kids that were leaving. I don't have a problem with, this is just me, and we can agree to disagree, and everybody can have their own preference. I don't got a problem with Mike Norvell coming into the situation and saying, I'm going to put my stamp on this program. I'm going to change the way these guys approach the game. I'm going to change the way these guys conduct themselves in the locker room, in the facilities. No headphones in the meeting room or whatever. Like I have no problem with him setting a standard and holding up that standard. I have no problem with that. And I have no problem with guys wanting to leave if they don't want to be a part of that. Because that shows the character of the kid. Because let's face it, in real life, I don't care who you work for, what job you have, there's always a standard at that job. You may work at a job that don't allow you to wear dreads or don't allow you to wear a beard or a mustache, or you have to wear a collar shirt. Every job has a standard that you have to uphold. I have no problem with that. So that's just really me. I know it's not a great sign to see a bunch of kids leaving, but if you're leaving because you don't want to be held to the standard, I don't have a problem with people leaving for that. That's just me. Premier Youth Theater. Michael Langston's once again acting as an FSU apologist. Norvell has a plan. Norvell is rearranging the deck. Yeah, that's what I mean. I like Michael Langston, but I think the Garcia stuff is just some hyperbole. I put no stock into it personally. What up? What up? Don't trip. I've seen every major program go through this. Yeah, okay, that sounds good though. So the season over. No bowl game. Yeah, I think the season's pretty much over. I mean, was FSU gonna grant? I know every team qualified for a bowl game this year, but was FSU really gonna be invited to one? Maybe just off a name. You think FSU is hitting rock bottom? Louisville is about there if they're not good next year. This is my first time seeing you, homie. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm assuming you're a Louisville fan since you brought them up. And no disrespect to Louisville. Made in the Ville, that's my homie. I got no but respect for the Louisville Cardinals, but listen, Louisville ain't coming from the top of the mountain, bro. Let's just be real. Louisville's never been an FSU. Our rock bottom hurts worse than y'all's, if I'm just being honest. No disrespect, but it just is what it is. Jake got ties to Dillingham at Miami. Dillingham at Miami. What's up, Montre? Deion Sanders taking all the players in the transfer portal. UGA transfer, I think that's the program changer. I think FSU fans think that every guy that pops in the transfer portal is a program changer, but we'll see. You got to get somebody. If nothing, to add competition to the room, and in case one of your guys go down, you have to have a backup plan. So you got to get somebody. 68 people in this room. Hit the like button, bro. And I'm behind on the comment, so y'all are commenting, and I'm trying to keep up, but I'm trying to go through every one. So if it wouldn't have played a game this year, we probably wouldn't have known to move from Blackman. Who knows? Maybe an entire year of just getting James Blackman and just revamping him would have helped him. Who knows? I don't think he is either. Armani Goodwin, four-star running back, backed off his Auburn pledge, has FSU in the top 5. We'll see how that works out. He ain't going to Miami either. Y'all debating about Garcia. Norvell said earlier that we will play someone. I'm not sure who. Norvell doesn't know who, so who are we going to play? I feel the pain as a Louisville fan. Norvell is a liar. I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. He's definitely political. I wouldn't call him a liar, but I'm not a fan of his interviews. And that's mainly because they're just boring. He gives really no real information in them. Why is T2Y on your channel? Because he's the main one saying FSU is running. Because T2Y likes to troll as the Miami fan. It's all good. T2Y cool with me. I got no beef with T2Y. Y'all know that. We do a show together. That's my dog. As a Miami fan, he gonna troll and let him troll. Trolling is not really my thing. I do it every now and then. It's all good. It's college sports, man. We got to be able to talk shit and be able to give it. Got to be able to give it and take it. It is what it is. What acts does the media have against FSU? It seems like the media go, absolutely, for sure. Y'all Miami fans are losing after having one good year. Thank y'all the big popping. I bet y'all backtrack next year. Dan Quinn's another one that's out there. There's a lot of defensive coordinators on the market. Why not jump on one if you're Florida State? Yeah. See, you just be trolling No Blooded. And you'll be first of all, No Blooded, you'll be on his channel trolling too. So don't be sensitive, man. Don't do that. We troll each other. It's all good. Any chance Stoops leaves Kentucky? He might. I see Stoops as a head coach. I don't know if Stoops would go for back to being a defensive coordinator. I'm not too sure. I really think Norvell going to give that bum ass DC another year. I agree, Kusami. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying this whole time. I don't see us getting rid of him because he seems like the type to want to keep his personnel happy. But 36 points allowed per game, yeah, absolutely. Why the F are we talking about new coaches right now? There's no reason or money for that after a freak year one. 707 squad is key. Okay, y'all still talking about Garcia. I'm not putting any stock in that because I don't care. 2021, Coach Satterfield is saying Louisville is staying at Louisville. He announced that last week. I don't know, man. Are you not a fan of Satterfield? You think Satterfield's in over his head? What's up with that? Another thing, T2Y, Miami is not our big brother. Miami is nothing in the ACC like Florida State, Clemson. Poke, the title of the video is absolutely right, brother. Shut up, Dennis. Didn't ask your opinion on the title of my video. Most of them do. Most of them do. Again, the ones that I don't recognize, they got to hit the like button. They got to subscribe to the channel before I can recognize them. But the guys who are in here all the time, man, I fucks with them. They are free to talk their trash because I do it back. What up, Joe? My game with 20 years and we ain't back nowhere because just trending enough for a league. That's all I'm saying, Joe. Y'all are trending in the right direction, and that's awesome. The way y'all sounding, though, y'all acting like, not all of y'all, but most of y'all. But we know what it is. And at least y'all are trending in the right direction. Yeah, I know you ain't got to express. I know Maiden Day. Like I said, I know a lot of y'all. I ain't worried about the majority of y'all are subbed and y'all on here all the time. If you fire Fuller, it'll show he's serious about creating. That's what I think, T2I. If you fire Fuller, you show that you're not going to accept mediocrity. You're not going to accept a guy that gives up 36 points a game and over 400 yards per game. I mean, again, we'll bring Miami back into this conversation. At least Miami cut ties with Enos after year one. They realized Enos isn't the goods. They cut ties with him. Everybody was like, well, maybe they should have kept Enos another year, give him a chance. No. They said, no. We got enough talent offensively, and Enos ain't getting it done. Let's get him out of here. And you saw now, granted, they also picked up a guy like De'Aaron King. They picked up a left tackle. So they transfer portal. They mended some holes. But ultimately, they got a new play caller, and they've seen the benefits of it. Well, Brandon, sometimes you gotta. Sometimes, I'm not trying to make any excuses, but I do understand that sometimes you gotta break this thing down before you start this thing back up again. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I think we might be at. Look, I don't know what the future holds. In 3 years, maybe we're talking about Norvell being a 9-10 win team. I don't know. And I'm not even saying I'm giving them 3 years. I'm gonna give them 21 games like everybody gave Willie Taggart. I'm gonna set my own standard. And after 21 games, if I don't see any improvement, then I'll start calling for Norvell's head. But until then, and with this COVID crazy year, I understand a little bit. I'm more mad at that recruitment of Luke Altmyer because that was your guy, and as a recruiter, which is a college football coach, first and foremost needs to be a recruiter. You want to be on that X's and O's, go to the NFL. In college, first and foremost, you need to recruit. That's a bad look for Mike Norvell. But I don't have a problem with him setting the standard. Shout out. Yes, yeah, they are having us the state championships in Tallahassee these years. And if I'm Mike Norvell, I'm hiding in the locker rooms talking to all them kids. I'm breaking some NCAA rules. I don't give a damn. Chat skipped again. Stoops is not a good coach. He's a better coordinator. I mean, I hear you. But who would have thought that Kentucky team would have won 10, 11 games? He won 10, 11, 10 games at Kentucky. He won 10 games at Kentucky. It's hard to say he's not a good football coach. You're not going to have a sustained level of success at Kentucky. The fact that you managed to win 10 games at Kentucky is pretty much remarkable in and of itself. I agree with that, Jose. Fuller will be his downfall. If he wants to live and die by Adam Fuller, then that will be his downfall. Absolutely, John Shields. I completely agree. If Norvell has a 4 or 5 win season next year, do you think he's still? Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. Hell, 4 or 5 wins would be an improvement. Okay. So he's not this year, but he's next year. So that's what's up. Don't mean he's not a good player. Had a bad game. True, Enos cost us a check and a half, but we did move on from him. Sometimes you have to. At least, I mean, look, I'm not that high on Manny Diaz myself. I actually think Manny Diaz is a better coordinator than he is a coach or head coach. But at least he recognized that I had to get rid of a guy after year 1 because my offense was inept. Fuller got 1.5 million for 3. Anyone think they will throw some money at POLK? Man, if they could, they could save a ton of money. They could pay me. Man, give me $200K. I'll go coach that defense. Real talk. And they'll look better than what Fuller. I guarantee you, they'll look better than what Fuller putting out there. High voltage. What's going on? I love Norvell getting rid of players that want fame for being FSU, trying to get players that love football competing. Sniper gang. It is a shame. And hence the title of this video, Rock Bottom. 4 and 5 wins would be an improvement, and that just tells you the state of the program. No cupcake. I mean, no sugarcoating anything here, man. No sugarcoating it. It just is what it is. I haven't seen anything from Fuller. That's enticing. He is y'all's weakest link. I understand year 1, but what glimpses has he? Thank you. He is in this. Is he really in this class? Am I tripping? I thought we were on class of 20, not class of 21. Am I that dumb? I could have sworn Shaheem Brown was in the class. I'm a fact check you, Tyler. Give me a minute. And maybe I'm just wrong, which is possible. But like Maiden Dave was saying, what Adam Fuller hasn't even shown that he should be like. It's one thing to have bad games, and it's one thing to have your players constantly at a position. He's obviously the weakest link. What has he shown that makes anybody think that, we should keep him for another year? And I think most of the fan base has kind of came on board with me because I was calling for Fuller's job months ago. And I think most have came on my side, like, you know what? Yeah, Fuller's got to go. And I don't know. I don't care how much money you owe him. I got it. It is what it is. And I get it. It's a COVID year. Da, 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 da. I think Norvell's gonna keep him. So I'm already with that reality that Norvell's gonna keep him. Okay, yeah, Shaheem Brown is in this class. Okay, I'm tripping. I'm gonna do a video breakdown on him. I actually thought he was in next year's class. So that is my fault. You are absolutely correct, Tyler. Shaheem Brown is in this class. I got to do a video breakdown on him. So we're be looking for that. We're gonna do some tape on Shaheem Brown and check him out. Check him out. But I'm all for it. Florida kid. Yeah, he's a 3-star, but he's a Florida kid. I'm with it. I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. They definitely, well, you know, again, I've been watching this team for a long time, but I ain't never seen this. And it's not just this is the entire picture for me. This is recruiting and on the field and in the locker room. A lot of stuff just seems to be wrong on all levels. Administration. Let's touch on that administration. FSU, we can say what we want about coaching, and the coaching is a problem. FSU will not be back until we get the right people in that administrator. We need a real athletic director. We need people who are dedicated to winning football, big boy football. And until they get that athletic department fixed, FSU ain't going to be doing anything anytime soon. To hell with facilities and all of that. Look, facilities, are they nice? Yes. And they are coming. But the athletic department, they're a joke in and of itself. That's what I'm saying. I don't think I was that early on Fuller, but I think it was after that Jacksonville State game. I was like, yo, he got to go. He got to go. Clayton Wilt says the ESPN piece was opening and shocking. The ESPN piece, if I'm being honest with you, Clayton, I think this is my first time seeing you, Clayton. Don't know if you're an FSU fan or what, but hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But if you are an FSU fan, that ESPN piece didn't tell you anything that you didn't already know. I'm just being honest with you. And I addressed that ESPN piece. Where's the Michigan piece? Penn State just won their first game of the season against Michigan. Michigan only has 2 wins on the season. These are schools with established coaching staffs that have been there for years. They should have established stuff in place. Michigan got all the facilities you could ever want. Big time coaching Jim Harbaugh. Same thing with Penn State. All that money. What's their excuse? Where's the ESPN piece on Penn State and Michigan? Why has FSU got a piece out? Come on. Pat, what up, man? There you go, man. We can talk about coaching, but we got the athletic department as a whole needs to be fixed from the top down. A fish rots at the head. We gotta fix the top. Woodson is a horrible DB coach. You know, man, I've been a little bit critical on Woodson myself, but I gotta question Adam Fuller. Adam Fuller's the one calling the defense. He's the one lining the play. Again, I talked about it when you're talking about playing chess. You could have a chessboard full of queens, but if the guy don't know how to play chess, it ain't gonna matter. You can whoop him with some pawns, a knight, a rook. You feel me? I'm a chess player, so you play the right guy in chess. It don't matter what you got. He can get you. I feel like Adam Fuller had a solid board. He just is a bad chess player. Hold on, guys. Let me take a phone call real quick. Yo, all right, we back. People calling me, bothering me. Only silver lining I can see is that nobody loses eligibility, so people can stay for longer. We have some good players who are super young, so we put it together. Decent season recruiting is fixed. FSU will not be anything until administration decides. That's, again, starts up top. Oh, yeah. I'd take Charles Kelly right now over what I'm seeing from Adam Fuller. FSU AD admin has been a ghost during the season. They sent for Norvell out there when Dabo cut out the admin, not Norvell or the players. That's true. The university didn't even make a statement. I had a problem with that too. Pretty much Norvell had to defend himself. FSU fan 100. Awesome. Nebraska 2. Yeah, Nebraska's been down for years. I don't see a Nebraska piece on ESPN. It's just ridiculous, man. Obviously, you can't sit here and be like, oh, we don't have any good players. That's the most ridiculous thing you could ever say. FSU don't have any good players on defense? Come on. We, FSU, haven't had a good D coordinator since Jeremy Pruitt. Why are we tripping on Fuller? What do you mean why are we tripping on Fuller? So we just supposed to settle for not having a good defensive coordinator since Jeremy Pruitt? Like, come on, man. But even though we haven't had a good D coordinator since Pruitt, we haven't had a historically bad defense. This one is historically bad. 36 points a game, over 450 yards per game. Come on. What do you mean we shouldn't be tripping on Adam Fuller? Like, what are we talking about? It's one thing to be bad. It's one thing to be historically bad. It is what it is. It's crazy, man. Oh, do I have... Fuller fails to inspire the defense. And Antonio, I feel you. Definitely on it. Again, it all starts up top for sure. For sure, it starts up top. And Joseph Hardaway says, I guess there's the FSU piece because of how long and recent our success was. I mean, I can't necessarily say that. I mean, before Jimbo took over, we were mediocre at best in Bobby Bowden's twilight years. Mediocre at best. Then Jimbo got in there, and it took us a while to get back up to prominence. And then we fell off again. I mean, the same could be said for a Michigan. Harbaugh had some damn good years at Michigan. Hell, Penn State was, a game away from the college football playoffs. They beat Ohio State. Probably should have been in the playoffs over Ohio State, if we're being honest. Penn State has been up there. And They came off of sanctions over the whole Sandusky thing. Like, come on, Penn State. Where was the Penn State piece? Why does Penn State and Michigan get a pass? Why does Nebraska get a pass? Everybody wants to talk about the team in the 90s. I believe FSU is the team in the 90s, but Nebraska has a real claim to that. Nebraska's got a real claim to being one of the teams of the 90s. I don't see a Nebraska piece anywhere. They just want to talk about FSU. We still move the needle, whether we're bad or good. POLK, I've seen a lot of folks on FSU board saying until all Jimbo and Willie's recruits are gone, FSU won't be good. That is not true. It's not all on the kids. Are there some bad apples? Sure. There's always bad apples. Hell, Miami has bad apples. Not Miami. I'm sorry. I meant Alabama has bad apples. The question is, can you get the kids to play football on the field? Can you coach them and keep them disciplined on the field? Everybody's got bad apples. This 100% falls on the coaching for me. Even though I think some of the players are, do you need some locker room, what do you call it? Do you need some locker room authority? Sure you do. Absolutely. But it's more so on the coaches for me. Exactly. We found a spark in Jordan Travis, but look at the defense against that team. I absolutely agree. That's the one. That's the one thing I'll knock on Norvell about. If the standard's the standard, and you're willing to get rid of all of these players because they're not fulfilling the standard, I'm cool with that. But the coach ain't the standard either, so he needs to be out the door next. If you're willing to get rid of all these players, okay, cool. I haven't had a problem with getting rid of players. I think FSU needs some new blood with players, but the coaching is also a serious problem. Serious problem. And Antonio Dupree says it's the coaching. Absolutely. So check this out, guys. I have to run to the car real quick. So give me 5 minutes. We'll take a 5-minute break and I'll be right back. I got to run to the car real quick because everybody wants to bother me when I'm doing this stuff. Give me 5 minutes and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Need a horn in the drum roll.
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
Need a horn in the drum roll.
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
All right, guys, my bad. We lost a few, but it's all good. We're still here. Still tuned in to 863 Seminole TV. And hopefully nobody bothers me. Joseph. Yeah, I talked about that, Joe. And he was, in my opinion, he was talking about with the players being dismissed from the program. But again, that's another guy, and I like Tamarion Terry, and it's not even just him, but these kids, they love the tweet, they love social media, and at what point? It's funny that they always tweet this stuff and then they delete it. They delete it afterwards. Just you're supposed to keep certain stuff in house. You know what I mean? Why does all the fan bases in the South hate FSU? Because FSU has done more with less than all those schools you just named. Look at Georgia's budget. Even in South Carolina, look at their budget compared to Florida State. It's one of the reasons why they don't want us in the SEC. Nobody wants to see Florida State with SEC money. And we don't, and our boosters are cheap. I mean, Clemson, they're getting, nobody wants to talk about that church up there in South Carolina that didn't Clemson all that money. Oops. But we're going to pretend like nobody knows about that. They don't want to see Florida State with that SEC money, man. That's all that is. This defensive problem is definitely X's and O's. If you don't think it's X's and O's, look, we can point to guys playing bad. Guys are going to play bad. No, you can't name me a perfect football player. Can't name me one perfect football player. You can talk about Marv all you want. Marv didn't play his best year. For a guy that didn't play his best year, how many blocked field goals and punts did he have? And come on, we can talk about the players all we want. Guys are going to have bad games. Did Cooper play some bad snaps? Sure. Cooper also made some plays. How about we address on a 3rd and 6, our corner is 15 yards off the receiver. Receiver does a quick slant. Why don't we address safety being put on Tutu Atwell when everybody knows that's a bad idea? Let's talk about dropping Janorius Robinson back in coverage as a 6'6", 260-pound DN who ain't twitchy and can move like that. Those are all coaching decisions. Those are all X's and O's. You don't put your players in positions to be successful, then they're going to look bad, period. You want to point out a bad play here and there from some of these guys? We can do that. I'm talking about the totality of the group. Week in to week out. What about the games that Marvin had that were good games? What about the games that Kane Doe had that were good games? The team still got blown off the map. Team still couldn't stop a nosebleed. There ain't no such thing as the perfect football player. But when you're constantly putting your defense in bad positions, calling the wrong defensive schemes, yeah, that's what you're going to see week in and week out like we saw. That's interesting. I'm not necessarily against it. I don't want to write off Jordan Travis right now. And I don't know if we've seen enough from Purdy to say he should take over at quarterback right now. So we'll wait and see on that. All I do know is that Jordan Travis with the ball in his hand is electric, and we have to find a way to have the ball in his hand. I definitely watched it. And you know what? For what it was worth, it wasn't that bad. For two 50-plus-year-old guys in the ring, it wasn't that bad. It felt like the 90s all over again. Granted, the fight wasn't. First of all, Roy Jones helped the whole night. Roy is probably my favorite fighter next to Muhammad Ali of all time. Roy Jones in his prime might be the greatest fighter of all time. The things he did in a boxing ring, the way he made guys look, ridiculous. Roy wanted no part of Mike that night. And Roy was tired as hell. Mike looked pretty damn good for a 54-year-old. Mike Tyson looked pretty damn good. Roy, on the other hand, age hasn't done him all that well. But Mike looked pretty damn good. Mike looked like a machine, man. And I'll be down to watch another Mike Tyson fight. Now, granted, it got to be against an old guy. I don't need to see Mike in there with no young bull. But Roy ain't want no parts. Roy ain't want no parts. But it was entertaining, man. I was entertained. And I knew what I was getting into, so I wasn't expecting no classic boxing match, you know. I say Roy got plenty of sense. Yeah, he got plenty of sense. You saw him holding. Roy ain't want that work. And when Tyson did hit him, Roy was feeling them hits. Tyson was hurting. Yeah, I think he was. Roy said it after the fight, like, man, Tyson, it's hurt. Yes, sir. I think that will be the next one. I think Tyson and Holyfield will probably be the next one. And I'm down to watch that. I'm down to watch Tyson fight all them old guys. Tyson's still pretty entertaining. Tyson, man, he gives funny interviews, man. But I'm glad to see that man has changed his life. The Tyson that you see now is so different from that monster in the 90s. That dude was a savage in the 90s. Not only in the ring, but outside of the ring. Tyson was a savage. But he was a mentally broken dude back then. It's good to see Mike Tyson mentally happy. He's a funny dude, mentally happy. Shout out to boxing. There's another big boxing match this weekend. Earl Spence. I won't be able to watch it because I'll be playing Soldier. But big boxing match this weekend. Wish I was able to watch it. I miss Asante next season. I'm nervous about the corner position. Yeah, you got to be nervous. Hopefully Miko Dotson comes back. And Demore Tate should be eligible. We'll see what he does. Jones versus Hopkins. That'll be their third fight. Jones won the first. B-Hop won the second. I have a feeling B-Hop's just in better shape than Roy. I think B-Hop probably in better shape than Roy. So B-Hop might get that. B-Hop might get that. 5-star long. I've been saying for a few weeks now, when is Terrence Lewis going to make that flip? So that's not surprising, John. That's not surprising at all. He's going to be a king. He's going to be a king. Yeah, Tyson owns he owns like a ranch, a weed ranch. It's like a business of his. He owns like a weed ranch or something they call it, like a weed dispensary or whatever. So they tested them for like PEDs, but Tyson was all for it as long as he could still smoke his weed. But, you know, that just shows you, man, weed ain't never killed nobody. Weed ain't never killed nobody. And that's awesome to see, man, that man found his happy place and that he's mentally stable in his older years. Because, man, again, if you remember Mike back in the day, that dude, man, I was watching this interview where he flat out told the lady, he says, I don't do interview with women unless I fornicate with them. I'm like, oh my God. Imagine him saying that in 2020. And they cancel Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson wouldn't even give a damn about no cancel culture in 2020. Like, Mike was ruthless back in the day. I guarantee everybody in here, Fuller will be fired by the end of the season. I don't see it, but I will come on here and rejoice if it happens, bro. I promise you. Where would you rank Floyd Mayweather in your top boxers ever? Floyd Mayweather is definitely the best defensive fighter, maybe of all time. Floyd's probably the second in my lifetime. Floyd's probably the second best fighter I've seen in my lifetime. Roy Jones, again, Roy in his prime is still better to me than Floyd Mayweather in his prime. Snoop was hilarious. Yes, he was, Brandon. Snoop was hilarious. Polk, man, Nate is still dead. Nate is dead. Nate is dead. Yeah, you can still, if you watch that fight, there were some times where he was really getting frustrated with Roy, man. There were some times where he was getting tired of all that holding, and you could still hear it in Mike sometimes. But he has that under control where he knows how to reel it back in. But Savage is never gonna lead that man. Nate Robinson dead, y'all. But yeah, man, I'm glad that we could turn this into a bit of a positive talking about this fight and stuff. But man, back to this FSU talk. Again, man, we talking about rock bottom and are we here? I think my biggest criticisms is recruiting. So Floyd is the evolution of Pernell Whitaker defensively. I feel you right there. Sweet Pea was a beast too. Sweet Pete was a beast. Yeah, he's got a marijuana company, man. Dude, he don't need to fight because he's making enough money. I don't know what Nate thought, but Nate shouldn't have been in no damn ring, swinging like a damn. I don't know. Nate looked like he never throw the real punch before, in my opinion. Somebody go wake Nate up. He's still laying in that ring. Do you still believe in Warren Thompson? I don't believe in Warren Thompson until he gives me a reason to believe in Warren Thompson, Antonio. I was hyping Warren Thompson up before the beginning of this year. I was telling everybody Warren Thompson was going to be the next. The size, the speed. Little did I know, Warren Thompson can't catch. I didn't know Warren Thompson had stones for hands. He can't catch. And until he shows me he can catch, I can't hype up a Warren Thompson. He let me down. If you fool me once, shame on you. You ain't going to fool me twice. Until he shows me something, no expectations from Warren Thompson. If Warren Thompson's even on the team next year, to be honest. I would like to see James, Tony, and Mike. See, my problem with James Toney, have you heard James Toney talk lately? He sounds like he's brain damaged when James Toney talks. He sounds like he suffered some brain damage. I would like to see it, but for his health, maybe James Toney doesn't need to fight. What church of Clemson? I don't know the church, but people who know. People who know, there's this church. There's this church up in Clemson, man, that all the money runs through. This church up in South Carolina. People who know. I don't know the name of it. And I know Clemson fans are going to be like, oh, he's full of shit. Don't believe all that shit. No, it's true. It's true. They got that by YouTube. Exactly. We need to get some of these college football YouTubers on in the ring. See who really about that action. Who do we have on the team? I don't think we have one, Jen. I don't see one. Odell used to be good, but I don't see it. Jordan Young ain't got it. Warren Thompson ain't got it. Ontario Wilson kind of has it, but even he has drops. But at least he plays hard. Keyshawn Helton, he's got it to a degree. But at only 5'8", he can't be your best guy. I don't see nobody that's got it. Yep, got a bunch of receivers that can't catch. Fuller can't be that bad. Even in the North Carolina game, we gave up over 400 some odd yards. We just outscored them. One game, not even one game. One half of football don't make you a good defensive coordinator. They've literally played one good half of defense for, what are we, 2-6? What are we, 2 and, I don't know, 2 and whatever the hell we are. For 6, 7, 8 games, they've literally played not one good game, one good half of football. It's really sad that it's come to that. Man, but we still 51 strong in here. So, of course, y'all know what to do. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Oh, I've blamed Dugans a lot. Maiden day. I'm calling for Dugan's job. If it was up to me, there'd be a few jobs open at Florida State. I don't know if FSU is going to go on a firing spree, but Dugans is one of the names on that list. It's one thing to not have the best maybe route runners, or maybe you don't have the most talent at wide receiver. Okay, whatever. Why can't none of your players catch? Why can't none of your players catch? What are y'all practicing? If you're a wide receiver, what are you practicing? None of your players can catch a football. Dugan's got to go, man. I've been calling for Dugan's job for a hot minute my damn self. Dugan's got to go. Man, I had almost 70 people in the chat at one point. I got 57 likes. Let's see if we can get 60 by the end of this video. All I'm asking for is 3 more. So if you ain't hit the like button, let's at least get 60 tonight. Do you think if we get Shiano, we would be in a better position with recruiting and building the program? I'd be interested maybe to see. At this point, anything over Fuller. At this point, I'll take damn near anything over Fuller. I'll take Panama Jack over Fuller. I'll take Lorenzo over Fuller. And at this point, I don't want to see Fuller no more. Who do you have in the fight? Willie or Mike? I don't know, man. Brian C. Might be my first time seeing you. So hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Who do I have in a fight? Taggart or Norvell? I'll go White Mike. The hell with it. I'll go Mike with the braids. Give me Mike with the cornrows, and I'll take him over Willie. Willie was too nice guy. And maybe Willie might be able to throw some hands. Maybe. But I don't see Norvell fired up on that sideline, cussing dudes out. I ain't never see that from Taggart. I'll take Mike. I'll take Mike. I could be wrong on that, but I'll take Mike. Right. Do you think any of the coaches could switch the positions they coach next year? Possible. I don't know who. So here's a possibility. Here's something that you could do. You could fire Norvell. Excuse me. You could fire Adam Fuller. Maybe you promote Coach Marv, who some people are starting to say he should be a defensive coordinator. Maybe you promote Coach Marv. And maybe that'll save you some money. Maybe you bring in another linebacker coach, like Devin Bush's dad, who's over there up at Michigan. And Michigan, all those guys at Michigan about to get fired. Once Harbaugh gone, all them guys, Devin Bush's dad went up to Michigan. Maybe you can bring him in as an FSU alum. You could bring him in to coach linebackers, and you can move Marv to defensive coordinator. I'd be for that, because at this point, again, I'm anything but Fuller. So I wouldn't be mad at that. Got to get a portal. Got to get, man, they got to address the portal in a lot of ways. They got to address the portal in a lot of ways. I got 60. Shout out to the chat for getting me to 60. Made up rumor. Warren is transferring. Right. Well, it helps them a lot, Derek. Again, that helps those schools a lot. First of all, 2 out of those 4 schools, well, really 3 out of those 4 schools in Tennessee, South Carolina, and Georgia. I mean, Georgia ain't won nothing in 40 years. South Carolina's never won nothing. Tennessee's last chip is 97, I think, when they beat us. I think it was 97. But outside of that, like 1 year, what has Tennessee been? Nothing. Again, South Carolina's never been nothing. And Georgia puts solid football teams on the field, but they ain't never won nothing. So 3 out of those 4 schools ain't never won nothing. Imagine if you get a Florida State in that group with the SEC money. You already got the logo. You got the helmet. Probably the most iconic helmet in college football with the spear on it. They don't want that smoke. They don't want that FSU smoke in the SEC. And Boy Wonder says Fuller nowhere near FSU. Yeah, I don't want him. I'm about done with him. I'm about done with him, guys. So now the question's going to be, we talked about Luke. Luke is gone. All right. We knew it was happening. Writing was on the wall. Talked about it weeks ago. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, it's official. Luke's gone. There's other rumored decommits on the horizon. The season's all but over for all the games being canceled. So my question is, that right there, where do we go from here? What is our course of action? Georgia ain't won. There you go. Destroy no. Everybody in college football know. Georgia ain't won nothing, man. And Georgia's got a huge budget. They got to, that's why like the facility stuff is all good and dandy. We can talk about that all we want. Some of these programs are just loser programs. It just is what it is. He was never qualified. Absolutely. Yeah, and I agree. Florida, because that's the one nod. That's the one nod when it comes to football that Florida has over Florida State is that they're in the SEC. Other than that, UF ain't happening. UF ain't having it. The biggest problem with Fuller is he's always allowing a lot of. With Fuller, he was allowing a lot of points. Yeah, he was definitely allowing a lot of points at Memphis. Nate was trying to street fight. Telly Lockett was our ace recruiter for South Florida, and Norvell let him go. Absolutely, Brandon. You're absolutely right. And of all the fires and hires Norvell did, I pretty much liked all of them. Even though now Fuller looks like a complete bust. Probably should have got rid of Dugans. But I never understood why we let Telly Lockett go. You came into Florida. You had no Florida ties. You had no Miami ties. Lockett wanted to stay. Why'd you let him go? It was a dumb decision. And here he is. Nobody on this staff can even recruit now. Don't know why you let Telly Lockett go. Definitely didn't make a lick of sense. And where we go from here is simply develop. The more we develop, the better the team will be. And then eventually, once you start at least showing some respectability on the football field, you can start winning some games. You can start kicking up a recruiting. But right now, you see what we're doing. We picked up a guy, 3-star guy. Got it. Nice, cool little prospect. They got him touted as a DB/linebacker. I'm assuming FSU might want to play him more at linebacker, but he's undersized right now, so you're probably not going to get him on the field year one. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you lost day one contributor Brandon Jennings. You lost I won't say Luke Altmyer was a day one guy, but he was definitely a guy who would have raised the floor in that QB room and pushed guys to play at a higher level, I believe, and you lost that. Rod Orr, the only 4-star tackle you've signed in how many years, probably on the verge of decommitting. So look at that. When it comes to recruiting, that's the part that really where I'm like, Norvell, I'm not with you on that. I think he's a good X's and O's coach. Matter of fact, I can see it on the field offensively on the X's and O's. We got to get some better playmakers. This recruiting stuff, I'm not with it, Norvell. You gotta, if you're not a great recruiter, you gotta get some great recruiters around you, because I don't see one on this staff. Because we can't sign anybody. Guys in our own backyard ain't even considering us. It's ridiculous, man. People really want to beat the Jeff Sims drum. I'm just not beating that drum. I'm not mad at Norvell for saying Jeff Sims wasn't a fit for him. Every coach does it. Every coach goes into a situation and says they want their guy. If Jeff Sims wasn't his guy, then damn it, so be it. Jeff Sims just wasn't his guy. Whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision, it's really too early to call. We ain't even seen enough of Chubba Purdy. He's been hurt all but for what, 1 or 2 games? We ain't even seen enough of Purdy to say that Purdy is worse or better than Jeff Sims. But I'm not going to beat the Jeff Sims drum when Jeff Sims has had more interceptions than touchdowns. And no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not mad at Norvell for going for his guys. Every offensive-minded coach wants their guy, especially when it comes to that quarterback position. If Jeff Sims didn't fit what he wanted, then he just didn't fit. And maybe he's mistaken, and maybe Sims turns out to be a really good quarterback. But it's too early to make that assessment. To me, it's really too early to make that assessment. Hell, Jim Harbaugh went to San Francisco. San Francisco had Alex Smith, and they made the transition from San Francisco to Kaepernick and went to the Super Bowl. Alex Smith wasn't Jim Harbaugh's guy over there at San Francisco. Jimbo Fisher came over to Florida State. He had Xavier Lee. He had Drew Rutherford already on the roster. Those weren't his guys. Guess who he went with? Christian Ponder. The rest is history. Every quarterback needs their guy. Jennings isn't an alpha dog to me. He seems to just... That's what I was talking about earlier, man. I agree with you. Absolutely. It seems like this dude just wants to go to some place that's already winning. Because I guarantee you he decommits from Michigan. I think when he committed to Michigan, he thought Michigan was going to be, good. I don't be shocked when he decommits from Michigan, because I think it's coming. And look how that worked out for UCF, though. If you get the right guys and develop them, I don't know. UCF, you can win a lot of football games that way. But number 33 definitely isn't a good look. Call me crazy, but I really do think we are a few tweaks away from being respectable. It's mainly defense. If we can fix that, we are instantly way more competitive. Well, yeah, that's pretty apparent, Giuseppe. You fix the defense, you're definitely in. Look, you fix the defense. Now, the offense did no favors, and that's because they stuck with James Blackman way too long in that game against Georgia Tech. Again, Jordan Travis wins that Georgia Tech game. If we play a good defense, we probably beat Notre Dame. But Notre Dame just was running the ball at will. We couldn't do anything. Defensively, man, they just never gave the team a chance, really. Honestly, if we're being honest, they are, Giuseppe. Let's not pretend like the ACC is an elite conference, because it's not. It's really Clemson and everybody else. Okay? Top tier is Clemson. Second tier would probably be like Miami. And I'm not really counting Notre Dame because until they become a full-time member, I'm not going to count Notre Dame. Top tier is Clemson. Second tier would be Miami. Ooh, excuse me. In North Carolina. And then from there, man, I think everybody's pretty much even. Virginia Tech, NC State, Pitt, all these teams beat up on each other. There's really not a lot of, I mean, Cincinnati could probably beat half of the ACC, if not more. You know what I'm saying? So let's not pretend like the ACC's this elite conference because it's really not. There you go. The standard, the culture. Culture is going to set the tone. You'll get a vibe. Now, UCF is UCF, so they'll probably never get 5-star guys. But 5-star culture can translate. Best hire by far, Alex Atkins. Mr. C says, "Bag man, where are you?" You know what, man? It ain't even all about the bag man. I get it. I know this is college sports, and that person does exist. But the bag man didn't lose Luke Altmyer, man. I don't believe that for 1 second. Mike Norvell lost Luke Altmyer. Luke Altmyer lost faith in whatever Mike Norvell was preaching. The bag man ain't lose that. Luke Altmyer stopped believing in what Mike Norvell was putting out there. That's what I think. That's what I think, man. Mike got to do better. Mike got to do better, man. We can't be losing guys in our own backyard. We can't be losing guys in our own backyard to Auburn. Amari Harvey, why is he going to Auburn? Terrion Arnold's probably going to be Bama or Florida. Corey Collier should have been a Seminole. He's going to Florida. Like, we just... Staff can't recruit, man. Staff can't recruit. Tyler says sometimes it's fun to just sit back and look at some of the god-awful takes in this chat. Tyler, it's all... You know me. Everything I say ain't correct, but if I don't believe in it, I go back at it. And I'm all for the debate. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff people say, but I'm pretty sure people don't agree with everything I say. So that's what makes this sports thing beautiful, is we can debate it all day. I don't know who you're addressing. I'm pretty sure if I scroll up, I could probably see it, but yeah, some takes, I don't know. Everybody believes what they believe and sees the game in their own light, I guess. Hindsight, FSU should have waited 3-4 years before letting the reset. Oh, absolutely, Panama. I talked about that earlier. I said it before. It's not that Willie didn't deserve to be fired. I don't have a problem with Willie being fired. I really don't. And people can make it about whatever they want to make it about. Willie Taggart didn't do himself any favors. And he ultimately deserved to be fired, in my opinion. Where FSU messed up, you don't pay $20 million for Mike Norvell. And I'm not knocking Norvell. I'm knocking his recruiting. And the more of this I see, the more I will knock Norvell. But I'm not ready to. I keep stressing. I'm not throwing Mike Norvell away just yet. With that said, you don't pay $20 million for a guy to coach somewhere else and not bring in top tier name. Not bring in a Power 5 coach from somewhere. You bring in Mike Norvell and his AAC staff. Come on. Mike Norvell and Willie Taggart, they're looking like the same guy. Shouldn't be at this school. Shouldn't be on this level. Let's just be honest. There's no reason why that hire should have been made. You don't fire Taggart for Mike Norvell. You fire Taggart for James Franklin. Granted, Penn State's garbage right now, but you get what I'm saying. Before the season started, people would have took a James Franklin. Hell, Iowa State coach Matt Campbell is damn good. Maybe PJ Fleck. I don't know. I'm not really a big PJ Fleck guy, but you get what I'm saying. You get a guy like that. Hell, I would have took Mark Stoops. Again, I think Mark Stoops reached his peak at Kentucky. He's not going to do no more better than 10 wins. Getting 10 wins at Kentucky is remarkable in and of itself. I would have been all for bringing a Mark Stoops in. You don't fire Willie Taggart for Mike Norvell. Now, in 5 years, if Mike Norvell proves me wrong, so be it. But just off the jump, that you don't make that move. UCF in the group of 5, they would get crushed in any. I disagree. And I'm not no UCF guy, but I disagree. You can't tell me UCF can't beat Syracuse, Wake Forest, NC State, Duke. Come on. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me UCF wouldn't beat. UCF beat Auburn a few years ago, but still. Now, can UCF put together a consistently year in and year out? I don't know. Being in a Power 5 conference will help that. But if we just talk about the ACC, man, you crazy as hell. Tell me UCF can't beat some of these schools, if not majority of them. Virginia Tech lost to Liberty. UCF can't beat Virginia Tech. UCF can't beat Miami that lost to FIU and Louisiana Tech. They damn sure could beat Florida State this year. Come on, man. UCF could compete in the ACC for sure. What I don't want to see is rotating quarterbacks. No, that's what I don't want to see. I don't care who you pick. I would like to see Jordan Travis at least get the initial nod. I think he's done enough to earn that. And if Purdy comes along and takes over the job, I'm all for it. What I don't want to see is rotating quarterbacks, because that means we don't have one, and the offense is never going to be a cohesive unit under 2 different quarterbacks. Robert Laster, what's up? Let me ask you, bro. We say this coaching staff can't recruit, but let's be honest. How bad have we been in years? Why would someone – I feel you, and I get it. I address that too. When you're not winning, it's going to be hard to recruit. But when I say this staff can't recruit, Robert, I'm really talking about this Altmyer situation. And regardless of how the game looks, Altmyer was your guy as the head coach who coaches offense, who's this offensive guy. Altmyer was your guy. You offered him as a 3-star before every other school wanted him, before every other school knew about him. You found the gem. You found the diamond in the rough. You offered him. Then all of a sudden, he gets his 4th star, gets Elite 11 invite. All these other schools start offering scholarships. I got it. But Altmyer was your guy. You're supposed to have that connection with them. You're supposed to have that relationship with them. And Altmyer said, I'm going to go elsewhere. Yeah, you discovered me. Thanks a lot for giving me all the hype. I'm going to go elsewhere. Altmyer didn't even believe in what you were selling him, and Altmyer is supposed to be your guy. That's mainly what I'm addressing, man. And also remember, man, recruiting's different than it was 10 years ago. These kids are committing more to coaches than they are to the program nowadays. Kids really don't even care about who they grow up a fan of nowadays. They build a relationship with coaches and they commit to that program. Altmyer and Norvell was supposed to have this unbreakable bond, and it deteriorated. What happened? He lost faith in his guy. Speaking of Luke Altmyer, he lost faith in his coach. That's what happened. That's where I'm at with it. So I know Toffoli, I think A lot of these guys, man, were being kept out because unlike Clown Bo Sweeney and the stupid Clemson Tigers, when FSU has symptomatic players, even if they test negative, they were still holding them out. So I know for Toafili and some of these guys, that was the case. They didn't test positive, even though FSU doesn't release that information anyway. But it kind of came to light that a lot of these guys were testing negative, but they were symptomatic, meaning whether they had fevers or whatever, they weren't allowed to participate. That was happening with a lot of the guys. New King finally showing his face. Let's see what New King talking about. You think FSU finishes below 40 rank? It's looking that way, ain't it? A couple more decommits and they'll be below 40. It's looking that way. I still don't know where that rumor is coming from with the Purdy thing. I don't know where that's coming from. I haven't heard one lick of information that Purdy's looking to transfer. But I could just not be in the loop on that one. Oh, no. You got to go follow them on Twitter, man. They talk about it all the time. They talk about it all the time. They're going to keep Norvell. If he doesn't turn it around, they'll probably keep him until this COVID situation gets worked out, however long that takes. But he's not looking like a good recruiter, and that's really where I'm at with it. Who are the players that you're excited to see next year? I'm excited to see Demore Tate. I'm excited to see the growth of a Steven Dix, the growth of a Lundy. I thought Fabian Lovett has really came on strong lately. If Kane, though, comes back, I'll be very interested to see what he does. Brownlee. There's a lot of guys that I think are good players that I'm interested to see how they grow, develop, how their body morphs with another offseason of weightlifting. There's a lot of guys, man. There's a lot of guys. Offensively, I would love to see how Jordan Travis develops his game. Can one of these wide receivers, can maybe Warren Thompson step up? How that offensive line improves after year 2 of Atkins is going to be awesome to see. Okay, that's why. Yeah, but they're on Twitter, man. They talking. I agree, bro. I agree. I agree. But we have reached 2 hours, and I thank everybody for tuning in. But I'm going to call it a night. Take care of some things. If that's the truth, then we'll see how that goes. If the rumors are true, maybe they do force Chuba out of Tallahassee. Again, that's another Mike Norvell blunder if that's the truth. But then again, I'm pretty sure the kid wanted to play. Look, I don't know. I think in certain situations, man, parents should kind of stay out of stuff. But you know, it is what it is. If they feel like he was rushed back and was put in jeopardy, then yeah, Mike Norvell effed up on that, because Mike Norvell should have thought that. He should have thought that through. I think if you get the right guys at the right positions, Robert, I do. Miami showed that. Miami showed you get a quarterback, you get a left tackle, you get a pass rusher. Oh my God, all of a sudden you can be a decent football team. The questions is, who can he convince to come over? That's going to be the questions. But again, thank everybody who came in here. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, hit that like button on your way out. with no game this weekend. Plus, I'll be super busy. I don't know when my next video will be. Probably sometime early next week. But again, over here on 863 Seminole TV with your boy POLK. As always, man, stay classy, Seminoles. You stay crabby, you Kane fans. And stay dumb, you Clemson fans. And I appreciate everybody who tuned in, hit the chat, showed out, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And we out here, baby. See you guys next time.